Hello all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to New Moon Musings. And I am here with my lovely friend Nikki Sue. And we are here to do a little astrology and intuitive tarot pull for the new moon. Hello, Nikki Sue.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going great. I'm excited for this new moon. It's going to open us up to a whole new zodiacal year for Aries season coming next. So this is the last sort of stage for kind of transformation and really leaving behind what's no longer serving us during this time. So this is a powerful full moon, or new moon rather.
Oh, I am so glad to hear that. Honestly, girl, so glad to hear that. I mean, I am the Phoenix, so my whole life I'm constantly in some form or shape of transformation. But I really, the 2021 was like over the top for me. It was definitely over the top, and I've been feeling that in January and February as well. I kind of secretly hoped that when the clock struck 12, that I could literally just kiss all of that 2021 energy goodbye. And it hasn't quite worked out that way. So I'm excited to see about this new moon, if this is the last sort of the kick at the can for that transformative energy, so that we can kind of start to actually manifest a new world, manifest post-COVID and what that looks like for everyone. So that's great news to hear.
Yeah. And, you speak of manifesting a new world, and the North Node has recently entered Taurus, which is really kind of reconstructing a new world in Taurian energy. And on this particular new moon, we do have an aspect from Pluto. I'm looking at my screen of the astro chart here, in conjunction with Mars and Venus, and this is making a flowing aspect to what's called a trine to the North Node, which is our collective destiny. And so this is bringing Pluto, huge transformation. Mars and Venus, a sort of a combination or a synthesis of all opposites coming together in very creative energy. And it's inviting us to go towards this North Node, which again is our Dharma or collective destiny, towards building new foundations in Taurus. So it's like, this is just what's happening on the day of the new moon. There's other aspects in terms of where the new moon is, which I can go over now.
Yeah, go for it.
So the new moon is on Wednesday, March 2nd at 10:35 a.m. in Mountain Standard Time. And so it's 12:35 p.m. on the East Coast. And when the new moon happens, the moon and the sun are exactly conjunct, and it's conjunct, which means that they come together exactly in the same exact area. This is at 12 degrees 6 minutes. So this is just where it's located in the sky. And I love that vibe of 12. This is actually, I think it's the sixth of 6 new moons at 12 degrees. It could be the 5th, don't mark my words, but there's 6 total at exactly 12 degrees. Then it's going to move on to a different degree. So again, excuse me?
And it's a 6 year.
It's a 6 year, so it's a lover's year in the tarot, and it's 12 degrees 6 minutes, so there's a lot of 6 involved in that alone.
Yeah.
And the 12 energy for me feels like it's such a stepping into something completely new. I think of 11 as like the portal energy. You are literally in the portal, interdimensional portal change kind of moment. And then the 12 makes me feel like you've come out of the portal and it's new. And then the 13 is pure magic. So the 12 is really this initiation of something new, which I love for this new moon, considering it's the closeout of the astrological year. The new moon is conjunct also Jupiter, which is also conjunct the new moon's loosely conjunct these two planets, but they're conjunct Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. So it's all kind of blocked together in this huge amount of Pisces energy. And Pisces energy is a lot of things. One of which is just really choosing faith over fear, choosing love. It's higher love. It's the synthesis of all of the zodiacal signs, since it's the end. It has the intelligence of all the stars, the universe. It's like the intelligence of the star card itself, even though that's the Aquarius card. But it's a really good time for deep internal review. In Pisces energy, we're going to the depths of things, the depths of our emotions in this water sign. It can be the depths of our fear, our fantasy. So there's some shadow involved in Pisces for sure. The moon is highly connected, as well as Neptune, which it's conjunct with. Both those energies have to do with moon would be like our deepest emotions. Fantasy, the kind of escapism is highlighted here. Creativity, this is all Neptunian themes and archetypes as well. Mm-hmm. So all of this is coming up. So any kind of deep review of like where you've been emotionally this whole year for you. You talked about how 2021 was just such a bitch. And it's like even deeply reviewing what has happened since a year ago. A year ago, this full moon in Pisces happened on March 13th, and it was conjunct Chiron, which is our wounds. So it was a very tender kind of new moon. And like, it's interesting to feel, what was I feeling from March 13th last year till now? What's gone on since then? So this deep review time is really something that's being invited for us. And it's time to recharge and reconnect. And as I said before, review and recall anything that's been lost from the tenderness of this past year. Maybe it's our own power. But it is a great time to rest too, because Pisces energy wants to rest. It's quiet, it's internal. And we're entering Aries season quite soon, this spring. And then we can like get up and go. Right now, all the planets are moving forward. Nothing is in retrograde, which is
wow. That's unusual.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's unusual. And this is going to be happening for quite a while, I think till the end of April. So it's kind of like there is a sense of like things are rolling and moving along quicker than it has been in the past, I want to say year.
Oh, raw magic.
However,
yeah,
this Pisces, this last bit of the zodiacal year is kind of inviting us to just like slow it down for a moment. Take your time, be patient. Don't let the fears, don't let the fantasy trump reality. It's got a really beautiful guidance towards our inner trust and intuition. Many messages could be coming through at this time. So it's really important to trust our intuition. If you really are feeling something, go with that, not going against the grain, but being really in tune with how you feel and trusting that. This is a very potent time for that kind of energy to come out. And I want to say there is a lot of review here, even in the fact that we're in a lover's year, 6th year. Mm-hmm. So we get that numerology by adding up the numbers of the year. In 2022 equals 6. In the tarot, that's a 6. I know you know this, Stace, but for our listeners and
for our listeners,
viewers,
absolutely.
Yeah, so we're in the lover's year, and lovers, I want to think every time I pick the lover's card that something is going to be magical in that lover's area of what we think traditionally of what lovers are. But lovers is really this reflection of the self. And I'm just thinking of this Pisces energy and looking just right in a pond with that water component and like just really meditating. It's a great time to meditate during this new moon because Pisces would be sort of that yogic meditative kind of vibe. And I'm just thinking of looking into a pond and just really trying to see to the depths. So that's a way you can use this sort of moment of the new moon. If you feel called to have a meditation, to set up an altar, to read your own cards, to just have a moment of peace. Pisces energy is very peaceful, loving, compassionate. Where have you not been compassionate with yourself? Looking at that as a review. How can I be more compassionate towards myself? And you can use that lover's mirroring energy as a way to love on yourself.
Hmm. I feel like you just gave the reading. We don't even need full cards.
That
No,
was
that's
just the
great.
astro part.
That's great. And what I'm called to offer is a challenge for all of us to approach this month as though we are looking into the mirror. And it's not only about what we see with our two eyes, it's about, as you said, going deeper, going beyond the reflection. What are you seeing beyond the reflection? What is the reflection showing you? And what is it showing you? Not because you have to change anything, more of a non-judgmental approach, more of an observational approach. And what is it that you're seeing, and how can you go beyond it? What depths can you reach? And I want to say to you, it's not necessarily, you mentioned shadow work. It's not necessarily, I want to say, this new moon about going into the shadow, going deep into the ocean of emotion. I don't feel that energy after what you've shared. I feel more of the observe what is really there and give credit where credit is due, and reflect upon who you are in this moment, because who you are in this moment will never be again. We are ever changing and evolving. We're always moving. So I feel like after hearing you talk about that, the energy of March really is about who do we want to become? How am I evolving based on what it is that I'm seeing, and how I'm going beyond the identity, beyond the reflection of what's there, and going into the what can be, those potentials. So
I love that you
potential.
I love that you mentioned that potential. It reminds me that on March 6th, I believe it's on the 6th, Mars and Venus will come together at 0 degrees Aquarius. So they've been traveling together this month in Capricorn. They've been moving along, skipping. I can't think of the word together, but
skipping.
moving along. But once they get into Aquarian energy is about bringing in the new. It's about really seeing from above. Aquarius sees from above, has this vantage point because of so much experience. They have this wisdom and guidance, and that Aquarian energy with Mars, and this is like the great lovers, Mars and Venus. Mm-hmm. So to me, it seems like it's just like the dark, the light coming together as one. I'm a yogi, I'm a yoga teacher. So everything I'm always seeing how important the oppositions are.
Right.
And these two planets are very much oppositional planets. So when they come together in a sign like Aquarius, it's like, wow, the innovative, new beginning, radical new way of doing things, total freedom. Like it's a really liberating energy. And I think like us astrologers have been talking about how there's been some really hard aspects in the astrology for the first couple of months. So I'm not surprised that you were feeling into that, waiting for the clock to strike 12. No, yeah. I love the connection to the 12 degree new moon.
Absolutely.
But you were waiting to, and then you're like, oh, okay. It was kind of a disappointment because the first couple months of this year looked really brutal. We've all been waiting for this like conjunction of Mars and Venus at Aquarius. So that'll happen on March 6th, and it's going to usher in a whole new sort of time period for this dark and light. I don't even want to say masculine and feminine, but I guess that and all of the polarizations of all opposites joining together as one, meeting up to really move on into the future with some kind of joint plans and connectivity and unity and just deeper wisdom and guidance.
And integration,
And integration.
I just feel that there's so much room for integration. I mean, this is what we're here to do. We're here to integrate the energies into our body. We're here to share with one another that integration. And integration does not mean everybody needs to be exactly the same. Integration is, how am I receiving the energy? You're receiving the energy. How are you receiving it? Where are the differences and how that is affecting each of us? And how can we synergistically bring that together to create something new and wonderful and magical as we move forward.
And I love the integration word, because that literally is the state of yoga. It's when things are integrated, we're no longer separating ourselves, or we're no longer being divisive at all. Yes. And so when I think of Aquarian energy, to which Venus and Mars will be coming together in, it's very sort of androgynous energy. It's more that it's totally combining and working together and integrating instead of being divisional.
Yes.
And so I love that.
Wholeness, balance, wholeness.
So this will be pervasive for this next month, for this cycle of this new moon, and the spread we'll do today.
I love it. I'm so excited. You ready to do the spread?
Let's begin.
Okay, let's do it. So this month I am pulling from Chris Ann's The Light Seers Tarot. I thought I'd switch it up a little bit. So for those of you who are just tuning in, this spread is one that Niki, Sue, and I learned about in a class where we met. And it's a class with Jeff Hinshaw called Brooklyn Fool's Tarot. And the class is called The Fool's Journey. We highly recommend it. And so we learned about this new moon spread. So we are going to choose 9 cards. There are 8 cards that represent the positions of the moon. So we've got the new moon, we've got the waxing gibbous crescent, waxing gibbous 1 and 2, the crescent moons, we've got the full moon, we've got the waning crescents, and then we come full circle, and we also pull a soul card, which today I think we should call it the destiny card, because you mentioned about the destiny being connected to Aquarius. So I think we should pull an Aquarius, a destiny card instead of a soul card this month. What do you think?
I think it sounds great. And so just so when you're, you'll show the cards in the layout. Okay, yeah. Great. Because it's the new moon starts on the bottom, and then you go yes. Quarter moon, go around. Full moon, and the third quarter are the 4 corners.
Yeah. So if you think about a compass, we are starting south, and we're working our way up to west, and then north, and then east and around. So that's the shape. But yes, there will be a picture in here, post edit. I will be putting some pictures in here of all the cards. So our new moon card for everyone is the King of Wands. So I love King of Wands. First of all, I love all Wands cards because it's fire and it always makes me think of Phoenix energy. But King of Wands is a really exciting card. Here's why. Kings represent leadership, teamwork. It represents mastery of the self to the point where I want to say it's like no ego connected. It's more like I'm confident in who I am. I'm confident in what I have to share. I've done all of the work. I've jumped through the hoops, and now I'm confident enough to know that we can all work together, and I'm the leader. I'm just overseeing. I'm an overseer. I'm not a leader so much as I'm an overseer. And I feel like this new moon, we all want to see how we can be overseers in our, I want to say in our day-to-day. How can you oversee rather than lead? I feel like leading it kind of implies that, you know, in order to be a leader, you've got to have people under you. You've got to have people who are not leading at that time. And I feel like when you're overseeing, there can be many overseers in a team. When we talk about the collective and what we're sort of getting ready to create and build, and you talk about going within, it's kind of reviewing how you can oversee in many different areas and aspects of your life. Here's the thing though, with wands, it is the fire energy, it's the passion, it's the fuel that we use to motivate us, to get us going from A to B, where it is that we want to go. It's also connection to spirit. And I'm going to say, because this year, it's a soul year for all of us. that soul flame energy, it's connection to the soul flame. So I feel like this new moon, you want to be seeing your life, seeing beyond that reflection as you're doing that deep dive into the soul space, overseeing what the soul is presenting, overseeing what the soul is suggesting for you, and deciding whether or not it fits for you. Does it resonate with me? Does it not resonate with me? Do I want to spend my fuel, my precious energy on this path, or do I want to reserve it and go in a different direction? I really feel like it's connection to, I want to say, to the soul path. And so I feel like just after we were talking about this all, I feel like this month and this new moon cycle is about connection to the soul on the collective level, as well as on that personal, individual level. We are preparing the plan. We're getting ready to get our hands dirty and to really step forward. We don't have to put a whole lot of energy into it yet. We are in the planning stage, but we need to be confident about what we're providing and what we're considering as we move forward.
I like that you use the word confidence, because the King of Wands makes me think of confidence. Did you freeze them?
So there you are. You like that I used the word what? We cut
confidence.
Confidence.
Like confidence is very much that fire energy is very confident. This is a natural born leader. And when I think of that, it's like a King of Wands is like, yeah, born into being a leader, not something that they were trying to attain in this lifetime because there was a goal. There's some sort of like natural proclivity toward having a vision, that is helpful to all, that is inclusive of all, that is inclusive of all beings. You even see the lion behind them. The lion is there. So it's really this beautiful way of manifesting, and I want to say like body, mind, and spirit. It's just like all there. It's and I love the visionary quality that the King has, and how that is for the collective. This card begins it launches this new moon cycle. So this is the card of the new moon, and the new moon, let's remember, is this closeout of the year, but with this huge potential for creativity. And on the new moon, we're always like planting the seed of something new to grow. And I feel like this is springboarding us and preparing us to get ready for Aries season, where we actually then do the work and really motivate and are driven to do that. But during this new moon, it's like, what is my plan? What am I envisioning? How am I going to use my power? I mentioned before about getting your power back. I mean, that was random, but like this card reminds me it's very powerful. It's my power, but doing it for the good of all.
Organic power. It's organic. Like you said, it's not contrived. It's not something you have to strive for. It comes from within, and we all have it. We just have to know how to access it. Yeah, I love that. Awesome. All right. So now we're going into our, oh my God, it's waxing. I almost said waning. It's waxing. We're going into the waxing. Ooh. Dun, dun, dun. The Tower.
Oh.
Nikki's like, oh, great.
I love it. No, you gotta love the Tower.
Oh yeah, no. We do love the Tower. The Tower gets a bad rap, and the bottom line with the Tower is it is a sudden, unexpected event that, you know, it's the lightning strike that knocks down, and you could never in a million years plan for it. And it destroys something, and sometimes it destroys something small, you know, sometimes it destroys something that needed to be destroyed. Sometimes it gets in the way of the bigger dreams and goals. But when you get through it and on the other side, you recognize, oh, this actually needed to happen because it stimulated growth, or it opened up a completely new door that I didn't even know existed. And so a lot of people get nervous about the Tower, dun, dun, dun. But I feel like this new moon, and when we're talking about moving into this, the waning gibbous here, what we're talking about is recognizing that, okay, as we are, stepping into this overseer and we're making plans, we have to understand that sometimes in order to make a new plan, things have to be moved out of the way, shifted, put on the back burner, thrown in the garbage, recycled, repurposed, in order for new life to come into the mix, right? And what I love about this card and the depiction of this card is, of course, we do have the lightning strike, and it's hitting somebody's home, right? You got the little squirrel, and I think there's a bunny rabbit in here, and you got the butterflies. This little squirrel, he was living in this tree, and now he's going, oh crap. What do? I have to shift my living. What I'm feeling is this is a commentary on our internal environments. And if we are doing that reflection and we are going beyond the reflection of what we see and doing an internal review, you might find that your inner house is in disarray. You might find that, well, if I'm going to bring in something new, I need a bigger space, or I need different colored walls, or I need to rearrange what is currently in existence in order to create the space for the new to come in. So I feel like this energy is really going to be about kind of doing that, I want to say, that internal reflection around your inner environment. Who are you keeping around you? Why are you keeping them around you? What things are you currently striving for? What are the goals? Are they appropriate to this new plan? Maybe they are, and maybe they aren't. It's not about judging it. It's about recognizing, okay, I'm going to look at this objectively, and I'm going to sort of pick up the pieces of what works and leave the rest of the rubble behind and build fresh and new. And I'm not going to look back. No regret. This little squirrel doesn't have regret. The squirrel just goes, oh crap, I got to find another tree. That's all he does. He's like, whew, I made it. I'm alive. He's not fretting about it. He's not crying over it. He's like, okay, it's time to find another tree. And then he goes off and does it. There's no, I want to say, emotion attached to it. It's just, I want to say, instinct or intuition that moves him forward. And I feel like this is the challenge for us during this time, is to understand that we can spend a lot of our energy and our soul fire space crying over spilled milk, or we can choose to say, all right, here's where it is, full acceptance, here's what's happened, and now where do I go from here? It's literally, I want to say, this is a complete cut from the past, a complete break from the past. And I find it very interesting that it's coming at this time when we're talking about you saying that we are coming to the end of the astro year and the beginning of a new. This says to me, okay, this is cutting all ties, tying up loose ends so that we can move forward in freedom and not having to worry about anything else.
Yeah, it's interesting because, and we were going to mention this anyway, but both Stacy and I we use this, where's my screen? Oh yeah, this is called the Moon app. And it shows you can get this in the App Store for your iPhone. And I'm sure there's one for every kind of phone, but it's a moon app that shows you exactly at what degree the moon is in. So I just looked it up, and when the moon is in this stage, it's 25%, right? In the waxing gibbous stage. And right, isn't that where we are? Waxing crescent stage. And that's at 25%, and it's on Monday the 7th. So you might enter a card, or the energy of the card, like maybe it's the day before that you're feeling into it, and the day after, because it's about 3 days for each card that you sort of feel into these energies. Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting because I mentioned before, when Mars and Venus come together, they come together on the 6th. So they're going to come together in this new energy, this burst of something totally new, unexpected, liberating energy. So that's really sort of cool to me, because this is the Mars card. Yeah. So it feels like Mars can be chaos. Mars mixed with Venus, though, feels like a burst of huge inspiration and creativity during the time of this card, and which is really a lot of creativity comes out of chaos. This
Yeah.
is part of the archetype of this card. It's like that squirrel is like, oh crap, I'm done. My house is done. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
He's got to get really creative to figure out his new home. And then
Yes.
all this, what you might rebuild out of chaos can be so much better because based on your own experience, you've learned what works for you,
Yeah.
what you need to do to grow. What the squirrel is going to build will be better than before. But sometimes we have to go through the process of surrender. And the card is surrender is a key piece too, in order to really kind of get that energy. And it kind of, the way this sort of Aries, Mars energy of these first two cards are synthesized together is really quite interesting to me, along with the astrology of this time. So
Yeah.
this is a perfect energy to, yeah, if you're going to make that new plan that hopefully by the next new moon cycle you'll be really moving forward in. Right
Yes.
now is a huge reflective time with Pisces season, but we must usually radical transformation happens through chaos.
Yes. Always, always through the chaos. Always through the chaos. Through the chaos comes the magic, right? I mean, that's the crux of it all, and that's how our souls really grow. And I wanted to comment on the when you were talking about the squirrel. It's also about the transformation. When we're talking about the transformation, him saying, oh crap, I got to move forward and I got to get, what am I going to do? It's also when you're building something new, it's also because you are new, you are becoming something different. Even the act of the lightning hitting the house, hitting the tree, changes you irrevocably. And it's up to you what you want that change to reflect, or how you want that change reflected in the who you're becoming. So I think that's really interesting that that's coming up as well at this time. That it's a necessary part of the transition, the transformation that we are all going through. So that's really cool. I like that.
I'm
All right.
looking at I have the, just so you know, like the first quarter moon, this will be on the 10th.
Yes.
So I can give it, because I'm looking at the app right now, I figure I can just plug that in. So everybody understands when around the time when you might be feeling into the energy of this card.
Yeah, that's perfect. So around the energy of the 10th, or around the 10th, the energy is King of Cups. So
Ooh.
our second king. So when we're, again, the king's mastery, leadership, feeling comfortable in your own skin. When we talk about cups, this is the realm of the heart. It's the ocean of emotion. It's also our spidey senses. It's the psychic realm. And I'm feeling like the energy coming through here is, after we've gone through, we've got that King of Wands energy, we've gone through the Tower. And again, it's very reflective. It's very reflective of what is leaving, and what you're making room for and what you're making space for. Well, now you've created enough space for the heart to come in. And I feel like it's a deep, true connection to the, how do I bring the heart into the plan? How do I bring my heart into the plan? I feel like that's the message. So this period of time, this three, let's say 4 days that you're sort of in this energy, the question you want to be asking yourself is, where is my heart at? What is my heart feeling? What is my heart experiencing at this time? Not my head, not the logical, rational, not my soul. We've already taken a look at the soul. We already know sort of where we're heading this cycle with the soul. Now it's about, okay, the heart is the captain. The heart, is leading the path. How do I bring more heart into the plan?
It's, Pisces season is all about what you just said. It is all about the heart. It is, especially with the significant things for this particular new moon. It's just like, this is the energy we're diving into. And it's interesting because the bottom of the south part of this spread, we had the King of Wands, and now in the other corner, over here on the other corner,
The
is
other
the King
corner,
of
ding,
Cups.
ding, ding.
And this is like, this energy is like, it's really supposed to be going into the heart and to really kind of synthesize and integrate and the king is inviting us to do this with a very calm state. I mean, look, he's got his singing bowl. I mean, he's just the master of ceremony there, just like in the water with the star, with the sea star.
Yeah.
It's just like he is just
Starfish.
there's a sailboat which is depicting calm seas.
And
It's
he's got his eyes closed. So he's
he's
even like in a meditative state or a
yeah,
focus. He's focused internally.
he's got a lot of wisdom. So the King of Cups to me depicts like somebody who has really deep wisdom. It's like a guru, and just not moved by all the craziness around, but able to really just tap so deep into the intuition, to be so clear that that is easy to synchronize with.
Yeah.
So I love the invitation there. I think it's beautiful, and it goes along really well with the energies of what's happening in terms of the astrology and Venus and Mars also. It's like just this total integration of in relationship and
Well, even the
beauty.
colors of the card, we've got blue is Venus and red is Mars. He's wearing a red shirt. And from a chakra perspective, the root chakra is red. It's representative of red. So you've got the root chakra here, and you've got now heart is actually green and pink, and this is sort of the watercolor. It's actually blue, but I'm going to say high heart, connected to high heart. So you're stable, you're safe. It's safe to feel calm. It's safe to feel peaceful. It's safe to go within at this time. Source is going to support you at that time. And he's wearing it on the upper part of his body. So he's wearing it over the heart. The heart
And
is
he has this green glow around his head anyway. So it's like when I think of that kind of alignment, that's really interesting. And what's above his head? It looks like a crown, but it's like some
actually a
blue.
cloud. It's
It's a
just like a
cloud.
space in the cloud. It's like a space of
It's
sky.
funny. It looks like a crown from here. It's
Yeah, you're
interesting
right.
about mention chakra, because I'm thinking root to crown chakra and just really synthesizing everything in between. Beautiful.
You know what? Actually, it could be a crown, because I thought it was just part of the blue coming through, but it's actually not. It doesn't look specifically like a crown, but we can call it a crown. Good call. Yeah, definitely good call on that. So yeah, I love the blue and the red contrast as well, because it's bringing in the balance that you seek. And it's about, am I safe? Am I safe to go within? Is it safe to trust this calm? Is it safe to trust my inner peace and my inner knowing? Hell yes, it is. Hell yes. All right, so we've got our waxing gibbous 2. We've got Page of Pentacles. This is always an interesting card to get in. I actually love Niki Sue's description of this, but I'll talk first anyway, and then let her wow and bedazzle you with her her interpretation. So pages, for me, it's about student energy. It's that energy of pure creative potential. It's like planting a seed or germinating the seed. You know, you've planted the seed already, and now you're nurturing it. You're watering it. You're making sure it's got, you know, nutritious soil. You're talking lovingly to it. You're checking on it, maybe putting a little chicken wire around it to make sure that Mr. Peter Cottontail doesn't, you know, take a chomp out of it. And it's highly creative, getting creative in the ways that you're manifesting. So when we talk about pentacle energy, it's bringing the intangible into the tangible. And you can see here, we've got a lot of green in terms of heart, you know, a lot of heart in Mother Earth. We've got the trees. We've got the nature. Trees are rooted into Mother Earth, so they're very stable, very solid. And I feel like, kind of piggybacking on the comment here with the you are safe, I feel that this is reflective of that. When you embrace this safety and you step into the calmness and the calm wisdom of your intuitive guidance and of your knowing, more grows. There's more that comes as a result. And you can be the curious student. You don't have to be the frazzled or the anxious student that's trying desperately to cram the night before. This is slow and steady. This is a process. There is nothing fast about this. And in fact, I'm just kind of getting a hit that this 3 to 4 day window of energy is also, you're going to find that things are very smooth if you allow them to be. I want to say the mantra for this time period is don't get in your own way. Allow things to flow, because things are going to be coming at you, and they may not be happening as quickly as you'd like, but they are happening. And it's up to you to say, I trust it happening, and I'm going to be open to the curiosity of, isn't that interesting that it's taking so much time? Or isn't that interesting that I don't feel like I have to be doing a whole lot, and yet I'm seeing things unfolding before my eyes. So don't get in your own way, or get out of your own way and allow things to happen and form organically. I'm seeing a lot of intangibility becoming tangible, and it's all the power from within. So this is what you're manifesting. Make sure your thoughts are pure, and that the energy you're putting behind those thoughts is also pure, because you're going to manifest very clearly what that is that you're putting out there. So you want to make sure it's exactly what you want to manifest.
I always think of the pages as inner child healing in some way, in some aspect, as part of the medicine. And for this card, of course, with the Pentacle suit, it's about embodiment, it's about our bodies, it's about how we are living in this manifested reality. If there's ways in which you are not feeling supported as you've been on your journey, or when you were young, like, this is a time to really kind of make a plan. I think of the pages as really making a plan for what's coming forth. And how can I feel supported? Well, how am I going to write my story in a different way? I'm thinking of like a children's story. My daughter just participated in Matilda, and that was the theme, was like, this doesn't have to be my story, I can write my own story. So in this, and of course, with the Pentacle suit, it's air, earth, fire, water, and spirits. So as Lindsay says, as Lindsay Mack, who's our teacher, it's such a powerful suit. It really combines all the elements together. And it's like, so that we can really manifest whatever we're dreaming up on earth. And so I'm feeling into that, as well as the astrological connection of what I mentioned at the beginning, the earth energy of Mars and Venus riding in Capricorn right now together, and for this new moon at the end of their journey in Capricorn. And also Pluto's there, that's the Phoenix, deep transformation. And we'll be coming into this stage, and at this point we'll already be in that stage of the Aquarian realm. However, prior to this, we have had this aspect to like, how am I going to really rebuild? I mentioned this earlier with the trine to the North Node of our collective destiny of rebuilding. So it's like really addressing in Pisces season, the shadow, as I mentioned before, anything that's kind of comes forth is something that we're ready to leave behind, so that we can manifest anew. And just thinking in ways that, like, even if you weren't supporting yourself, the lover's reflection piece comes up again for me here, because it's like, in what ways, what's the reflection that you're getting? What way do I need to support myself? Like, I know that I can personally get into a lot of negative, self-deprecating kind of thinking patterns. And it's like, somehow that was formed over the years. So my inner child needs to like really feel supported by my own psychology and thought processing. And so I think that's a really good way to dive into this energy and really start, because this card is really encouraging us right before the full moon to step into something new and really make a plan for how you're going to manifest it.
Yeah, I love that. It's like the diving board, it's like the step before you dive fully into the pool. It's okay, I'm getting ready. I'm psyching myself up, right? I'm talking myself up. I can do this. I'm ready for the dive. How do I want to dive? Do I want to do a half pike? Do I want to, do a cannonball? Do I want to do a swan dive? What do I want to do? And psyching yourself up. I love that.
So this card, that's the Wax and Gibbous card, the one we just went through, in between first quarter and full moon. So when it's at 75%, it's on the 12th of March. Remember earlier I was saying we won't do the dates, and now I'm giving all the dates because I just have my
So
handy app right here, the Moon app. It's
I
just
love
so
it.
helpful. It's kind of cool to know. So,
All right, guys. Holy cannoli. We got
full
another
moon.
king. Full moon. We got King of
Oh my
Swords.
God. I was thinking, I was going to say when you picked the King of Cups, I'm dying right now. I was going to say, what if you pick all four of them for the four
And they're all
corners?
on the four corners. Exactly. So it's like right now we've got south, west, and north that are
And
covered there.
kings. Wow, this is amazing. And I just have to say, when Jeff of Cosmic Cousins taught us this, he was saying how like you can look like it's really important to pay attention. What's on the new moon and the full moon? How do they reflect each other? What are the things that are synchronistic within the spread? And when Stacy sends the picture, you'll see how it looks. But it's like so cool when you have the synchronicities to have the three kings on three of the corners. I'm like dying. It's amazing.
And if we are looking at it from a reflection, we've got the fire reflecting now into air. Well, what does air do? Air fans the flames. Air is the oxygen that keeps the flame going and can make the flame go higher. So I feel like this is really reflective. And as well, we're in that waxing energy, right? So the waxing is the movement, the action. You're making the plan, you're taking steps. So the full moon is the culmination of all of that. And I feel like it's important to go, oh, okay, here's the pinnacle. Here's the peak of where we're at. I am in my own mastery. I am feeling confident in my plans, swords, communication, plans, words, the words that we're using, the thoughts, our thought processes, our mental energy. This guy feels like he doesn't have a care in the world because he's confident in his plan. So King of Wands brought the confidence of the soul. King of Cups brought in the heart into that energy and into that space. And now the head is saying, and I always say that the heart is the captain and the head is the first officer. So we had the heart sort of enacting what the soul wanted or integrating into the soul. And now the first officer, the head, is going, okay, let's do this. I'm ready to enact this plan. I'm ready to move forward, and I'm doing it in a thoughtful way. I want to say this period of time, the energy of the King of Swords days, it's important for you to be very thoughtful. This card typically does have, I want to say, quickness or speed or motivation connected to it. But I want to say to you, because we're coming off of the King of Cups, which was a calming energy, in the Page of Pentacles, which was everything is going to happen in its own time and its own way and pace, absorb that. I feel like you can take action now, but it doesn't have to be super quick action. It just needs to be thoughtful action. And then it needs to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Like swift. Like once you've decided, commit. Don't wishy-wash. Don't second guess. Don't overthink the decision. Step into the decision and move forward with confidence. Step into his air of confidence and knowing, like he is fully in his own space and he knows that he's not going to mess anything up for himself or anybody else. It's not his intention. He's being thoughtful about how he approaches the world. I'm also hearing, for those of you, when we're talking about career path and how you make your money and how you contribute that out into the world, I feel like there's an added message for everyone to really consider that there's going to be some funky stuff coming up around career, around workplace energy and environment. And when you are in a more thoughtful position, you don't necessarily have to get involved in all of that nonsense and shenaniganery. It doesn't have to take you by surprise. Be thoughtful and considerate, or be thoughtful and considered in your action steps moving forward. It doesn't have to be super fast, but you want to make a swift decision and then you want to commit to it and move forward. It's all about the communication and how you are expressing what is needed. It's never about the message, it's always about the delivery. That's what I'm hearing. Sorry, I just got a little hit on there. So go ahead.
That's great. I think of the King of Swords as, the grand communicator who likes to analyze and really like with that kind of, armed with that kind of knowledge, can move forward in a decisive way.
Mhm.
So I'm hearing that, and that word too, just being decisive. The full moon is always the reflective moon. It's always the time to really like really see what has been going on and really having a really good picture. That first half of this spread is like, really inviting us to look so deep with the Tower card, especially at that beginning, and then coming up with this plan. It's like, this is in a really beautiful order of these cards. And when we
Mhm.
come to, I actually think he fits so well as the grand communicator of like, what am I seeing? What, and like, what, especially with, I keep mentioning this, but the Mars and Venus together in Aquarius, having had that just happen, 10 days before or whatever, it's like, that new realm of like really, because Aquarius is an air sign, the
Yeah.
sword suit is air, and
Mhm.
so this is all about really like, kind of analyzing what has gone on, and we're culminating like a whole astrological end of cycle. The spring equinox is coming, where new things are literally going to be growing right outside your door.
Yeah.
So this is a really good time right before Aries season, where it's like, to really reflect on like, and so you've come up with this sort of plan in that page, and then now it's like, let me analyze this. How is it, like you said, like, how we're going to push forward, because I do think that after the full moon, then it gets really quick, because
Yeah.
it's like, and then finally, once we come to the next new moon, then that seed will be planted for the new growth. It's
Yeah.
going to be in the growth cycle. So this analyzing moment of deep reflection in Pisces season, which is the depths of the depths. You
Yeah.
can't go deeper than that. Um, and you're doing this, I want to also say, like, remind us that Neptune and Jupiter are aligned with this new moon. So there's this sense of what's higher love, what's higher meaning, what's going, what do I carry with me, and how can I use this intelligently with that Jupiter energy. And there's this huge, Jupiter expands everything it's near. There's this huge amount of potential and creativity and self-reflection, and then he's there to analyze it. It's just like you couldn't have picked more beautifully in order of the kings, and I can't wait till you pick the fourth quarter king.
Yeah. I
uh,
can't wait to see
I'll be
that.
like, my
That'll
work
be
is
like,
done
oh
here, and
my
like,
God.
I'm done.
Well, and I want to say as well, just to piggyback off of what you're saying, his sword here on the top of his sword is the crow.
True.
And then he's also got this, he's
Oh,
got the snow owl, right? So the crow straddles the shadow world and the regular world, right? So when you were talking about, analyzing all of it from a higher perspective, that higher love, I feel like it's also about not shying away from the shadow, but seeing the shadow, allowing the shadow to be in that high space as well, because we learn
mhm.
from our shadows, right? If you can't make a considered decision or a decisive commitment to something if you haven't explored all of the avenues, and him being so connected in that way, bringing the shadow to light or bringing it up is going to elevate it. It's not going to give it, carte blanche to go, hog wild. What it's doing is it's bringing it to light, because there's something there that we also need to consider as we're moving forward. So that's really cool. And of course, the snow owl is wisdom. It's the wise energy, the wisdom that we step into. And also, because it's got a little bit of the white, I always think of the, sort of the light aspect of things, the divine versus the shadow is divine as well. It's just a different frequency, right? The lower
And it's
frequency is,
intuitive. It's the intuitive. It's really picking up the intuitive piece to that owl energy, and visionary. When you think of an owl, this is like the visionary kind of component as well. So it's
yeah,
pulling together everything that you had picked earlier.
yeah, it's just beautiful. I love it. All right, so our waning gibbous, we have the Judgment card. So we got this.
Ooh.
This is Phoenix. This is Phoenix rising. This is rebirth. And I love that we've got so much green in this card. It's all heart. So here we've done all of this work. You know, we've talked about the soul, the heart. Now we're formulating the plan. We're incorporating the mind into it. And now it's time to actually make the decision to move forward, to say, yes, okay, we're saying yes to this new plan. We're saying yes to what is arising. We're saying yes to the rebirth, shedding the old body and freeing ourselves from, I want to say, the past, freeing ourselves. And what was the card that, I think it was the Tower, that I said we had to cut ties completely in order to be able to move into the new that we are creating. This is saying, okay, yes, I agree. It is a choice that I am making now to rise from the ashes. New baby bird, wings wet, ready to take on the world. And I'm doing it from a heart space. I am doing it because I am all heart in this moment. I feel like the energy of this particular time frame is really going to affect us collectively and then on an individual level as well, in terms of, I want to say, a little bit of grief mixed in with a whole whack of excitement and anticipation for the new. Don't forget about the grief. When we say goodbye to something, even if it's something that we are ready to say goodbye to, there's always a little bit of grief. And it's important to acknowledge that. If you don't acknowledge it, it gets stuck. And by the way, it gets trapped in your lungs. And what do the lungs do? The lungs allow us to breathe. What does breath do? It gives us life. If we can't breathe, there's no life, right? So I feel like the message here is to be aware of the fact that, yes, we can embrace this new and be excited and still have a little grief and sadness about it. So don't overlook. Instead of overlooking the grief, you want to oversee the grief. You want to oversee it so that you can acknowledge it, you can feel into it, and then you can release it and step fully into the new path, the new adventure, and feel confident in your choice to commit.
This, by the way, the full moon is on March 18th, and it's in Virgo, that full moon. So we'll have to see where it falls in your chart, Stacy.
Yes.
This will be hitting up your 12th house.
Yeah.
So we'll have to look at that, your shadow side. We'll see what's going on there. But and then this one comes around, you know, before and after the 22nd, when we're in this waning gibbous stage. So the Judgment card, you know, it's always a new start. It's always a this opportunity. It's definitely like really seeing from the above perspective. In the Tough deck, this is the Ion card, like ions. You've been living for eons is the other way to say that word, the eons. And so you've gained so much perspective when you get to this point. You've gone through so many different experiences. We've gone through chariots. We've gone through towers. We've gone through deaths. We've gone through stars. We've gone through the whole gamut of the major arcana. And we get to the Judgment. And it's like, I always think though, with Judgment, there's a reason why kind of that word is there in sort of the old school teaching, in that, like, you could actually sentence yourself to a certain way. So if you're not willing to take what you learned, take that analytical King of Swords full reflection time in that full moon in Virgo, and if you're not willing to really see what you're devoted to, which is Virgo energy, then if you won't move forward, you're sentencing yourself to like staying in the same patterns. And I want to say, to change and be in the new pattern, you have to really like step into that and make a commitment that I am moving forward. And then of course the World card is next. So then you enter a whole new world, but you actually have to make the decision that I am ready to go. This is the moment.
I'm committing to me, self-devotion, devotion to self. I am committing to breaking out of this pattern, or I'm committing to letting go of this pattern that I have. If it's too much to work on the release, you can literally just go, oh, what does it feel like to let it go? It's like It's like releasing the bottle, the message in a bottle on the water. You just let it go and you don't worry about it anymore. I feel like that's really important, is understanding that releasing and letting go of a lot of this stuff doesn't have to be complicated. It's a choice to just say, I open my hand and it's gone. Simplicity is what
And I like the 2 energy again, even with the 12 as the new moon vibe, it still has that 2 component to it. We're in that, 2022. 2 has come up so much this year. We had
yes, already. I know.
222, 2002, and so again, this card is a 2.
Yeah.
The number 20 card, which numerology is 2.
And it's on and it's on the 22nd.
And it's on the 22nd. And it's this relationship piece again, which brings in that lover's energy, which as a 6 vibes with 2. It's just like this, really this commitment to self is so evident to me in this time period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
Third quarter moon.
In third quarter. Oops.
Let me see if I can get the date. Might as well, since I'm on this path. Okay. 325, a few days later.
That card flipped out. Let's see what it is. Let's hope it's the king. It's not the king, but it is a queen.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
What are the chances? Well, let's see. There are 78 cards in the deck.
I know, it's just insane. But still.
Oh my gosh. I love that she's closing in on the other king of wands at the, other corner.
Exactly.
Wow, she's balancing them.
And Queen of Wands, as Niki calls her, she's the witchy card. So this is the card that really embodies that pure psychic energy, and it embodies that pure psychic energy from a completely confident space. So again, the message of confidence is coming up. Be yourself 150%, unequivocally, unapologetically. You don't care. This is who you are. This is your soul flame coming up and saying, I have something to offer the world. And you don't need to take it if you don't want it. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. But I'm here and I'm going to take up the space that I want to take up. So I feel like this energy, this third quarter that we're dealing with, is really going to be about, okay, I've chosen the plan. I've chosen to move into this. And here I am, world. And now how do I want to shine? How do I want to say, access my energy? And how do I want to put forth my energy? So I mentioned to you in the King of Wands that wands is the fuel that we use to enact our purpose, to enact our will, to act out our choices, decisions, and actions, right? It is the fuel, and it is spirit, source, soul. It's all of that good, juicy stuff all rolled into one. So when we're talking about that energy, the queen energy also brings a little bit of structure around that. She brings a little delegation around what that is. She delegates. And I feel like if you're talking about a literal queen and that sovereignty, nobody's going to necessarily question the queen. When the queen tells you to do something, you do it. But she's going to tell you how to do it. The king is going to say, I want you to do this. And then his advisors go around and tell him, or tell the other people what they need to do. He just decrees something and expects that it's going to be done. The queen says, she's a little bit of a micromanager. She says, okay, I want you to do it, but I want you to do it in this way. And I'm telling you to do it in this way because I know that this is the best way to get things done. So yes, she's a bit of a micromanager, but she has cause. Like, she's wise. She's got the right energy. She does have the right answers. And I feel like you want to tap into that aspect of yourself during these days, these energy days, is tapping into that. What is it that I really know? And I'm going to say to you, if you are lacking confidence, if you're kind of in a self-doubt mode, go straight to source, go right to your intuition, throw everything else out the window. Self-doubt only comes when you're tapping into your ego. When you're listening to that ego voice, that's where the self-doubt comes in, because the ego voice is, again, trying to stop you from anything that's going to cause you hurt, pain, discomfort, discourse of any kind. Well, we know, we talked about it earlier, this is how the soul grows. the soul grows through a certain level of adversity or different challenges to challenge it to stretch out of the box, so to speak. So the queen is coming in here and she's saying, hey, we are enacting the plan. We are definitely on soul path and soul purpose. How are we going to show up? Well, let me tell you, here's my plan. And here's why I'm asking you to do it in this way. Or here's why I'm telling you to do it in this way, because I have a right to be here. I have a right to shine my light, and I know what the fark I'm talking about. So that's the energy you want to step into.
And right prior to this, we've stepped into Aries season in the third week of March. So it's like,
yeah,
she is actually like a bridge here now into what we're coming into the end of this cycle of this spread. And she's, you know, I think of the Queen of Wands. She's also highly passionate. She is the magic maker. She makes things happen. That's what's going on in these fire signs. They make things happen. They're manifesting. They're really like using their deep magic to make it happen. So this again, it just falls perfectly in this, after the Judgment card, really like, now we've stepped into something new because we've made the decision that we're not going to get stuck in the cycle in the washing machine, like on redo all the time. Like, here we are stepping into something new, and now she's there to make the magic happen and integrate it all. And so yeah, I love her for that moment. And yeah, I always think about passion, lots of spirituality, bringing in that component as well.
I love that. I'm so excited that she showed up.
Oh,
I always get
like ridiculous.
Shows up.
I can't even believe it. I didn't pass out, because I would have passed out if it was the King of Pentacles. But that was actually better and more appropriate in a sense. That just feels like that.
The perfect transition, as you said.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so we have our waning gibbous 2. Oh, interesting. We have 6 of Cups.
Ooh.
So, wow. So, and I'm going to say,
loving. Sixes are beautiful. And we talked so much about the lovers that, first of all, you picking a 6 right there is so just divine.
And I want to point out, we have all royal cards in our spread, except for 2 right now, which are major arcana. So this is our first minor arcana card. And I think that's significant as well in the spread, because it also, so the minor arcana cards indicate sort of the day-to-day stuff. And it's, you know, if we are on like ludicrous speed, that's definitely going to be the major arcana. And when we're just kind of going with the flow, we're rolling, everything is good, everything's awesome, you're stepping into more of the minor arcana energy. It's the day-to-day mundane stuff. So it's significant that this is the first one we get in this entire new moon spread. So it says that this new moon cycle is going to be, I want to say, intense and a little more significant than most. And as we are wrapping it up and rounding it out, we're stepping into the 6 of Cups. And 6 is harmony, balance, and alignment. Cups energy, of course, is the connection to the heart. And it is that psychic and spiritual space. And what I love about this card in particular, first of all, it has lab dogs or retriever dogs on it. So of course it's dogs, so I'm all about it. And then it's like retriever lab puppies. They're awesome. And you have 2 of them, so that's kind of cool. Niki Sue has 2 beautiful retriever babies. But what I love about it is you've got the young and the older. You've got the past and the present. You've got evolution. You also have an energy of don't get stuck in the past. Don't get stuck in the illusion of what was, or yes, the illusion of what was, because our memories are faulty. Sometimes when we look back, we reminisce, we see it differently. We fantasize about it. We shift it up in our minds. How many times have you had I'm going to say a semi-traumatic experience in a situation, and then later on you look back on it and you go, well, it wasn't so bad, or I saw it this way, or I can, you know, well, this person did this and that and the other. It's not actually what happened. It's your ability to cope with it that changes the story, right? It's one thing to change the narrative intentionally, through healing work, it's another thing to do it as a coping mechanism, right? Where you're not aware of it. So I feel like the energy of this card and the days that we're going to be in this card, it's really important to be aware of what you're telling yourself. Are you living in the illusion of the past and what you thought once was that, I want to say, can't necessarily be again, or you don't necessarily want it to be again? Or are you fully present and in the moment and appreciating everything that is coming into your path and coming into your space? It's also very fitting that this is coming in with the path that we have taken in this spread, that, okay, now we're opening up into something new. This is the opportunity we already did it with the tower, and this is actually mirroring the tower. We've tied up loose ends. We've let go of some really important things to make room. Now this is saying, okay, and I'm going to connect with my heart space about this, and I'm going to come to peace with anything that I have to close the door on. I'm going to come to peace with the illusions and the realities, because I can only truly manifest and move forward into my fullest potential if I'm being real with myself, and if I'm being real with what is actually in my now, what is in my present moment. And that brings me into alignment with my true goal. So this energy, I feel, is really about alignment to the who am I becoming? Who am I stepping into? And we talk about that with the collective. I feel that there are going to be a number of things we're going to see, I want to say, on the big screen or in the news, that's going to be reflective of what we thought it once was versus what it actually is. Or reflections of, well, it used to be like this back in the day. Well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't apply to the way things are today. We need to move forward into the new.
Yeah, it's the nostalgia card. It's like nostalgia can get us in trouble. It can make me say, wait, when I was growing up, I didn't have a tablet. Why do you have to be on your tablet all the time? My kids. Or like, why did this town have to change so much? I live in a tourist town that when, 30 years ago was really different. Well, actually I have to accept, it's sort of an acceptance of and not getting stuck in the nostalgia, because nostalgia can be troublesome sometimes. But this card is like, it's actually mirroring a little bit of the Page of Pentacles. There is like this inner child healing of being supported, of being loved, of you can see how much love is in that card. There's just like, it's overflowing with that. So there's a sharing and loving component with the dogs, and so I love that as a evolution from that Page of Pentacles earlier, about taking a look at how you haven't been supported or in what ways. And then it seems like there's the evolution from the child to the adult, that this is a process that, and again, really taking into account, like, the past is the past, and this is what's now, and this is what's current, and how am I moving forward with this sense of joy, peace, and love.
Yeah. Oh,
let's get on to the other one, because I actually have to go, unfortunately.
All right. Well, let's pull our destiny card.
Woohoo! I can't wait. So this is like the destiny card, just for those of you who don't know, is the soul journey for the month, or the destiny for the month. Like, what is the overarching kind of anchoring energetic?
The moon.
Wow. For Pisces season, for Pisces, I mean, wow, that's the end of a cycle. I mean, that's really very, and to pull the moon as the center card in a new moon spread just feels so magical. This is a really magical time. You can see she's like in the bottom of the, I want you to send just that picture to me after this reading. Sure, yeah. But it's like, remember how I was saying, it's like Pisces season is pulling you to the depths, like the depths of everything, your emotions, your dreams, your intuition, it's like, beautifully aligned with the entire spread. I just love that so much. And it's, of course, confronting our shadows.
Yes, I was just going to say, it's confronting the shadows, and it also has that energy of the illusion that we were just sort of talking about a little bit here as well in the Six of Cups. It's recognizing that, when the sunlight is shining on something, there, you see everything so clearly. The light is harsh. it doesn't allow for anything. But when you shine the light of the moon on something, it's a gentler light. And sometimes it can create, you know, an illusion that you're not expecting. I always go to Scooby-Doo, where they would freak out about the shadow on the wall and something's coming. And when you get up close to it, it's a broom with a rag on top of it, right? And the wind was just blowing the rag, but everybody thought it was a ghost, right? So it's understanding that, you know, when we're talking about the destiny of our month, it's understanding that there is a play here on what is illusion versus what is reality. And when we are in the process of creating something new, we need to understand that we need to shine a number of different lights on everything that we're doing, so that we can be fully aware of what's coming in. And we need to be connected to our intuition above all else. This is not about getting in our heads. This is not about logic and rationality. This is about the mystical, the magical, the feeling. There's just a feeling. There's just a knowing. I just know this is the right thing to do. This is the energy that we are moving towards as a society. Some of us are coming along, you know, dragging our heels, kicking and screaming. But many of us, and anyone, you know, who is watching this understands that this is what it's all about. It's connecting to that intuition at all times, living an intuitive life. When you are connected to your intuition, there's no such thing as anxiety. Anxiety goes out the window, kind of like what I was saying with the ego, right? If you're making decisions from the ego, it's a very anxious way to live. Whereas when you're listening to the intuition, you don't have to have all your I's dotted and T's crossed. You just need to be open to receiving what you're getting in the moment, in this now. And that's what I feel the destiny card is calling us to do this month, is to really be present. Be present while we are planning, and then get ready to dive in deep, because we are creating, and it's going to be magical. And it is going to be a wonderful blend between the shadow self and our true self that is all coming up. And it's integration on a higher scale. That's our destiny card for the month.
I love how you picked the sacred closeout card too. You know, it definitely, the moon card is an example of closing chapters.
Yeah.
It's the 12th house in the zodiacal wheel of 12 houses. It is karma. It is the sense of complete and utter letting go and surrender. And it's just like so perfect for this time at this end of this cycle. And really Pisces season, it just couldn't match anymore. Before I check out, I wanted to mention that I'm Niki Sue Mueller, and my website is nikisuyoga.com. I do astrology readings, tarot readings. I teach yoga. I'm a seeker of adventure and of spirituality, and I'm very fortunate to have become such great friends with my dear Stacy here. So thank you so much for the opportunity to participate in these calls with you.
I love it, girl. And we're going to put all of that information in the description below. So if you want to book, and I highly recommend you book a session with Niki Sue, do so. I'm Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive. Check out the blackfeatherintuitive.com. I have my Facebook page, my Insta, and of course my YouTube channel. Click the bell if you like what you see here to subscribe. We're always posting some new things in. Take care, guys. Enjoy this new moon and this full moon. There's so much excitement that's coming. Enjoy the new beginnings. We're so grateful to be participating with you all, and you know, kind of doing this wild ride called life together. Take care, and we'll see you next time.